name is Clarice Montecalvo, and I'm a volunteer here in La Ceiba, Honduras. My program dates were April 1st through April 29th of 2018, and I volunteered with the medical program here in La Ceiba. The local ABV coordinator and support provided in-country, I would say, were excellent. I have no complaints. The most surprising thing I experienced at the program was I was surprised by the innovation that the hospital staff and how they were able to elevate the quality of care given to the patients in a resource poor setting. At the accommodation, I actually stayed in 2 different accommodations, and the most surprising thing to me was the difference between them. So I was able to experience sort of 2 different levels of what is experienced by the people here in La Ceiba. From the amount of space in the bathroom, to the number of bathrooms in the accommodation, to the English level of the inhabitants of the 2 accommodations where I stayed were completely different from each other. And what surprised me most about the country was how safe I felt. I had been told, or I'd heard, that Honduras is a dangerous country before I came. And even in country, people would talk about how dangerous it is here. However, I felt completely safe the entire time. The most difficult thing to experience at my program was that though I was learning quite a lot, I sometimes felt I wasn't particularly useful during my rotation. Though I think that might be because I'm a medical student, and as a medical student I'm used to seeing patients, writing notes, and being able to chart and be more involved in their care in that way. But since I'm not a licensed physician I was not able to write notes and orders for patients. That wasn't something I could help with, and it was something that the doctors spent quite a lot of their time doing. However, I think that's also, there are other opportunities, especially at other locations, because this program has multiple locations, to do more work with nurses and taking blood pressure and things, but I chose to be in a setting that was more applicable to my medical school curriculum. At the accommodation, I would say that the most difficult thing for me was moving halfway through my stay. At the time I felt I sort of just started to get settled when suddenly we had to move, but I'm overall pleased with the change. I'm really actually glad that I was able to move and experience 2 different sort of levels of housing and accommodation that the Honduran people experience. I was actually fine with it. I think it's not common. It's not something that would normally happen to a volunteer. In the country, I think the most difficult thing to experience was, as a female traveling alone, my options for evening and weekend activities were somewhat limited. Walking around the city alone is generally not encouraged, especially at night, and some of the weekend trips are actually more expensive for a single person than they would be for a whole group. However, my host family had several older children that were happy to accompany me on various occasions, and I wouldn't say my trip was necessarily adversely affected by the fact that I was traveling alone. Some tips for future volunteers. As far as clothing is concerned, for medical volunteers, I'd say you don't need professional clothing. Maybe bring one outfit in case something comes up that would, an opportunity comes up for you to attend a professional meeting or something like that, but you really will just be in scrubs the entire time, so professional clothing isn't needed. If you're old enough and enjoy going to bars or clubs, bring appropriate clothing for that, because here in La Ceiba there are some opportunities to do so on the weekends. As far as donations are concerned, the hospitals in the area, they need everything, so latex gloves, non-latex gloves, the nitrile ones, any number of medical equipment that you can fit in your bag, gowns for the patients or sheets sometimes, scrubs for the OR for the doctors. But I would say make sure you don't bring expired items or items that are going to expire very, very soon, because that won't be useful to the people here. As far as the weather is concerned, it is hot and humid. I think they mentioned that quite a lot in the what to expect packet that you're sent. I would say bring bug spray, definitely, because there's mosquitoes, and sunscreen if you burn. Even if you don't burn, bring some sunscreen and wear it, because you will probably get burnt if you're outside and you're not used to the sun here. And I think it's important to know that though it is hot here, I would say most local people wear pants and t-shirts, short-sleeved shirts. So if you're trying to fit in more than stand out, especially if you're by yourself, make sure you bring a pair of jeans or pants, because that's sort of the norm. As well as swimming and beaches are concerned, the people here tend to wear tank tops or a light shirt and small shorts over their swimsuits. So if fitting in is something you're looking to do, then I would bring something to swim in on top of your swimsuits. I would say that something else volunteers should know, I've tried the topos. They are fantastic. It's basically like a popsicle in a bag. I love them. Medical volunteers, bring your blood pressure cuff if you have them, and your stethoscope, you will need it. And I would say be prepared for a carb-heavy diet. Rice and beans are a staple of the diet here. So I would say overall, a broader view was an excellent organization to work with. From the initial planning stages through the in-country experience, they answered any questions I had quickly and thoroughly and gave me extensive program and country information prior to traveling. The medical program in La Ceiba has varied opportunities that can be tailored to your interest level and experience level. As a fourth-year medical student, I have had experience in the U.S. Doing rotations in surgery and OBGYN, so here I was able to be in surgeries such as orthopedic surgeries, general surgeries, and assist in gynecologic surgeries as well. And one thing I was most excited about, I was able to first assist in a variety, and actually multiple C-sections as well. And I was able to assist in births. I didn't see enough births to be yet ready to actually perform the birth or to catch the baby, but that is something that is available as well if you have that prior experience. The weekend excursion opportunities in La Ceiba were amazing. They have zip lining here, whitewater rafting, conservation parks. Those are all nearby day trips. There's also nearby islands that have scuba diving and snorkeling, which on one of it is the second largest in the world, I think, barrier reef, the Mesoamerican reef, second to the Great Barrier Reef in Australia, but it is the most biodiverse in the world, so definitely amazing experiences there. Evenings spent with the family were some of my favorite times, and all of the people I met in the city were welcoming. I've loved almost every experience in this country so far, and I plan to return. I would describe my accommodations as just living at home with a family. You really feel like you're part of a family here, which I think is helpful because then you're able to experience a lot of the culture as well, to have that cultural exchange. The meals I would describe as, they were a little bit carb heavy, but they were home cooked meals, so a lot of rice and beans, some meat, plantains. It was all delicious. And the security, I would say I felt completely safe the entire time. I did follow the recommendations given by my family to be safe, but following those recommendations, I would say was very safe and secure. My favorite memory during this trip of the program was being the first assist in multiple C-sections and other minor procedures. As a med student that did surgery and OB-GYN rotations in a hospital that also had residents, I didn't have as many opportunities in the U.S. to do those things. So I appreciated the opportunity to be able to do that here. I also really enjoyed seeing and learning about tropical diseases that we don't necessarily see in the United States, especially in Ohio, where I'm from, such as chikungunya virus and dengue fever. My favorite memory in the country, I honestly can't just choose one memory as my favorite. Every weekend I went somewhere different, experienced something new. They have beach and lagoons and mountains here. And evenings spent with the family were some of my favorite times, and relaxing in a hammock with a view of the mountains was exactly what I needed. after a long, stressful year. So I've loved almost every experience that I've had here in this country. The Abroad Review USA support prior to traveling. The communication aspect as far as phones, emails, and online chat I would say was excellent. They were able to quickly and thoroughly answer any questions that I had. The website information was excellent. I mentioned earlier they sent me more than enough information to prepare for my trip and to know what to expect when it came. I am willing to speak to any other potential Abroad Review volunteers who are interested in learning more about the medical program here in La Ceiba. And I actually found out about the Abroad Review through just Googling medical internships abroad.
Thank you, Clarice, for being volunteer with the Abroad Review Honduras. Have a safe trip home, and we hope to see you back very soon.
Thank you.
Gracias.